Downtown lights start to come out at night. We go insane, we go insane. And when I arrive, I start to lose my mind. I go insane, I go insane. 'Cause they told me you take too much. Yeah, I sure do, so I can feel that now. If they only knew how this was, yeah, they would too, just to feel that now. 'Cause I ain't got no favorite, I ain't got nobody, all I got ahead is a moonlit road.
Hey everybody, good afternoon, and welcome to the studio. So adjust this a little bit. I know it's probably gonna be a lot of earthquakes today. The kittens are hyper. Oh, the kittens are looking at birds. Okay, that's why they're not bothering me. We have Kiba back on his rightful place. Maybe he'll trust me again on the wheel. Well, here they are. Unique coffee, hey! Yeah, so you changed your name completely, new account. Yeah, welcome back. Well, and Doppelganger, hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the Pottery and Kitten Show. Ooh. We have Kiba the Great on the wheel, and then we have bouncing kittens everywhere else. We're gonna go for a spin, just a slow spin. Oh, Tux pounced up here and tried to get his tail. Hey, silly cheeks. Yes, Kayla, I love it. What a gorgeous piece I've got on the wheel. When will it go for sale? Oh, this one's not for sale. The kittens, you know, we've been trying to give the kittens away. Not very hard, but they are, you know, they could go to other homes. What are you doing? You gonna go chasing? Okay, at your own risk. Oh yeah, just the end of his tail is poofy. Yes, see, most of his hair is grown back, but yeah, we give him a haircut during the summer, and it's been over a month. It was in May when we gave him a haircut, but it's not all grown back yet. Once his tail no longer looks like it has a poof on the end, then it'll be time for another haircut. He hasn't let me spin him around on the wheel in a long time. I don't know if it's because the other kittens were here or if he's just forgiven me. He has his own Q-tip, yes. Coffee, you're ready to see some pottery. All right, well then you've come to the right place. I am making some more mugs today. Last time I did mostly bowls. So today's going to be mostly mugs. I'm going to start out with the regular sized mugs. My 20-ounce mugs, and then I'll move on to the smaller mugs. I found that if I'm throwing different sized pieces in the same day or at the same time, it's easier for me to throw the larger pieces first and then work my way down to the smaller pieces rather than starting small and working my way up to the bigger pieces. because the bigger the piece of clay you work with, the more pressure you put on it. All right, so here we go. We've got 1 pound of clay. And I center it on the wheel. Get my scrap tile out. So did everybody have a good day yesterday? Did anybody do anything special? Around here, it was like yesterday being the 4th of July, the heat index was 106 in the middle of the day. It was horrible. Hot and muggy and just really too hot to be doing anything outside, so we stayed in. Oh, nice coffee. You've got us on the TV. You know, I didn't measure this first. Let's see if I'm anywhere near my right height. So I have here, with the mugs, I measure them to make sure they're all around the same size. And this is my super duper high-tech handy dandy mug measurer. It is a little bit big. So what I'm gonna do is try to compress the rim a little bit. Make this a little bit shorter. Sometimes it's easier to make them a little bit taller than to compress them back down again. Oh yeah, doppelganger, yeah, you had a super slow day at work and then the firework noises made your shy cat really talkative, yeah. Red, white, and blue pancakes at IHOP. That sounds good. We have 1 mug. You say you still don't know if IHOP's name change was real or not. I think it was just a gimmick. An ad campaign to get people's attention, and it did. What's my favorite breakfast food? Scrambled eggs or cinnamon rolls? Cinnamon rolls. Can't go wrong with cinnamon rolls. But I can't eat just sweets for breakfast, so I usually have some scrambled eggs or fried eggs. The sugary option always wins, yes. Though, like, so I've been doing low sugar. I've not like quit sugar altogether, but because I've had a couple of cheat days. But for the most part, I've not been drinking sugary drinks. I've been trying to eat foods without sugar in them. And yesterday I made some cookies because I was gonna cheat, and like I didn't really like the cookies. They were just too much for me. So like, it doesn't take that long for your body to get over sugar. Like I still have cravings and I want sweet things, but like I think one day I tried to have like a sugary Coke, and it was way too much for me. So I don't know. I may not like cinnamon rolls anymore. I actually made some banana bread that didn't have any added sugar. It was just the sugar from the fruit, and they're really good. You know, they're obviously not as sweet as a regular banana bread, but still really good. I would argue for white chocolate chip cookies being the best. White chocolate macadamia nut or peanut butter. I'm a huge fan of peanut butter things, but not many other people around me are. So all right, let's check on this one. And of course, this one I didn't make tall enough because I was trying not to make it too tall. So what I'm going to do, add some water to it and bring it up a little bit. Oh, I hear it coming. Doppelganger said you have low blood pressure and low sugar, so some mornings you literally need to have a piece of chocolate or something to build up the energy to make real breakfast without feeling like you need to sit down every 2 minutes. Wow. The viral cookie recipe that was going around a couple months back was super good. Origin story is fake, but amazing cookies. I don't know what this is. Now, my favorite cookies to make are they have coconut in them, so they're you can use chocolate chips or white chocolate chips. I like white chocolate chips with shaved coconut and then pecans in just a regular cookie mix or sugar cookie mix. They are amazing. We actually call them crack cookies, and you can use white or dark chocolate. With dark chocolate, they actually remind me of a Mounds candy bar. Starburst gummies. I think I've had those like in Halloween candy or something. They're chocolate chip cookies with lots of ground up oats. So I like oatmeal chocolate chip cookies then. Hello. Don't eat it. Oh, he doesn't like the sound. My tile's not quite level and it's rattling. Oatmeal cookies are, chocolate chip oatmeal cookies are to die for. What was it I made? This past Christmas I went crazy, like trying a couple different recipes, making different cookies. I made chocolate chip oatmeal cookies for the first time and butterscotch oatmeal cookies for the first time, and they weren't bad. But I made chocolate cookies with dried cherries, and those are really good. Like I think I'm gonna make those again. They're I use a chocolate cake mix to make the cookies, and then I added dried cherries to some, and to others I added dried cherries and white chocolate chips, and I think I like those better. Call them chocolate covered cherry cookies. Hey, buddy. Making sure I'm doing okay. You got clay on your nose again, buddy.
Is there more to us than the words we say? The games we play? Can we know that we're not human? We have this feeling that we can't explain. Do this every day. The love will find its way. I feel your presence, but I
Ooh, we got the whole crowd.
I'm missing where I need you most. I'm so cold inside.
Oh, your cat's laying right next to you, all.
But I can't stop this fever. You are a million miles away, but I can still feel you here. These seas will never drown us out. We're in this together.
There you go, sniff the wheel. Like all these crazy noises and sounds happen when you're up here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, what? Come on, dude. Let go. That's what I get for wearing a V-neck shirt. Don't have as much claw protection. He kind of fell. He did. He fell off. And that was a pounce directly onto his brother's head, in case you were wondering. Those little black paws, I know. Now these guys, like I said before, are going to be the 20-ounce mugs. And I'm starting with a pound of clay. And I found out that kind of the whatever poundage I start with, like after it, it's going to lose some weight. It's going to shrink a little bit in the firing process. But by the time I add the glaze, then it's going to weigh about the same as it starts off with. So these, when I ship them, by the time I add a handle and add, graphics and medallions and stuff, it's going to weigh like 1 pound and a couple of ounces. That's the actual ship weight on it. So it's kind of easy to judge the final weight based on what you start with. Do I make my clay? I actually don't. I buy it already mixed up. So, in some places you could just go dig it out of the ground, but I buy mine pre-mixed. It's actually a standard brand clay, and it's their 213 porcelain, so it's a mid-fire porcelain. The problem with going and digging it up out of the ground is you have to do a lot of refining to the clay. Like you've got to dry it out, you've got to break it down and process it and get all the sticks and bugs out of it and dirt, because dirt is different than clay. And then get it into a consistency where you can actually make stuff out of it. And then you've got to do testing and figure out what actual temperature the clay will fire to, because this clay will vitrify, which means it will solidify back into stone at 2,300 degrees. That's because it's been formulated to do that. But a lot of the clays that you'll find in the ground, especially around here, we're in southern Kentucky, so we have a lot of red clay. They're more low fire clays, so they're not quite as strong. You can buy it in powder form. I actually buy it pre-mixed and hydrated. So I buy it in, they come in 25-pound bricks in plastic bags, which is where, I have all these plastic bags everywhere that I put my scraps in. I get them because that's how the clay comes. It comes in 25-pound bricks, and then you get 2 bricks to 1 box, and that's how you buy it. And I buy it 3,000 pounds at a time, so we get it on a pallet. And in the next few weeks, or in the next month, I'm gonna have to buy some more. I go through at least 9,000 pounds of clay a year. Yeah. If you buy it dry, then yes, you just add water and you can knead it together. So you would add water, let it solidify, and just start kneading it like you would bread, and mixing it together, and adding water until you get it to the right consistency. Whether you're going to be if you're going to be throwing, it sometimes needs to be a bit softer. If you're going to be doing sculptural work, you might want to let it harden up a bit. It just depends on what you're using it for. Do any studios mix different types of clay, or is it not really a feasible thing? Oh yeah, now especially like if you're a lot bigger than I am, then it's worth your while to have the processing equipment and you have the space to do it. Then yeah, people process their own clay all the time. We did it when we were in college, because we had a clay mixer and we processed our own clay, and that was part of learning the process. But for me, it's worthwhile for me to pay somebody else, pay for the clay, to have it ready to go. Now, after saying that, I do recycle my clay scraps. It's like you see me cutting off little bits of clay, and then if I have something that flops over on the wheel, if I have a clay tality, then I will also be able to reuse that. If something cracks or breaks or squishes at some point, then as long as the clay has not been fired, then I can recycle it over and over and over again. Hey, Lassa. Good afternoon. And you'll see, like, if you were to look around, you'd see that there are a couple of main clay distributors in the country, and they go around, they have their own recipes, and they sell clay to other people, so. But there's also, just like the different glaze recipes, there's tons of different clay recipes out there for whatever you're wanting to do. Hello. Yeah, he's gonna have a permanent clay smudge on his nose, yes. And white whiskers. Oh, watch out. Watch the tail. Watch the tail. Jack Frenzy and Odd Man Out Props. Hey, thank you for the follows. And thank you for the host. Let's measure this. This may need to be taller. Yeah. Yeah, that's so funny. If you watch the little one, if you see him running around, the little black one, Nightwing, has there he goes. He's got a toy in his mouth and they're fighting over it. Wacklet made me a bunch of little cat toys with catnip in them, and they love them. You never know if a cat's going to like catnip or not. About half of our cats like catnip. And those two certainly do. I think they're being all whiny. Oh, oh no, we got a wobbler. Let's get some water here. So when I get a wobble like that, sometimes it's because there's a little thin spot right there, or because I'm not pulling this up evenly. So it cause a weak spot. But what I can do to fix that was what I did. Instead of pulling up on it again, I use the same pressure as when I'm pulling the clay up to push it back down. Go in the opposite direction, sometimes that'll fix things. Then another way to fix it is to compress the walls with a rib, which this is my flexible metal rib, sometimes called the metal rib of death. And as I'm pressing, with the rib on the outside, I'm smoothing out the texture of the mug, but I'm putting a very slight pressure on the inside, helping it form that shape, but doing that also compresses the wall, which makes it a little bit stronger. Oh my god, I stick my hand down into the bag to grab some things and I get attacked from two sides. Why are you so wobbly all of a sudden? Let's see how tall this is. The mini mugs get 3/4 of a pound, and these are 1 pound of clay. Strengthen up that bottom part there where we had a wobble. I'm really glad I have a towel on my lap, or I would not have knees left with the way they climb. They don't jump, they climb. He's just so nosy. Hey, knitter girl. Say such big kitties every time you see them. I know they're getting so much bigger. They're a good 3 months old now. Does he have a white patch on his nose, or is he even in the clay? No, it's clay. It is definitely clay. Oh, knitter girl, that's right. Well, happy birthday. Doppelganger is the cat yarn bowl Kiba. You know, I have made versions of Kiba before. The standard cat yarn bowl that I make is more like Tux. It's got like a white mouth. It's a black cat with a white mouth and white feet. But when I go to retail shows, I like to bring extra cats. Like I'll make that one. I'll do different colors. Like I've got a good gray, so I make a gray tuxedo, a gray and a black cat. I do a calico and a Siamese and a Kiba. Welcome back. Oh. And now he's got a white tail too. Oh, you think the preview was Kiba? Could have been. Could have been. The slideshow. I'll have to peek at it and see what we put there. Need to make it a little bit taller. Oh, Lassa, that's right. It's your anniversary. Congratulations. You're relaxing and enjoying the day. You're not even going to clean today. It's kind of what we did yesterday, except I did clean a little bit. We just stayed home. It was too hot to do anything else around here. It was like the heat index was 106. Oh my goodness. Hey, buddy. He was trying to jump up here, and his brother was hanging on to him, trying to get him. I think I'm home base. I think that's what this is. I think I'm safe for the time being.
Diamonds go on forever, skipping and hopping in my knowledge, going and dropping it. It all shift my soul, so I will never be something. I slow it down so y'all can hear me turning peaches. Dedicating this song to the gaming girls, my princess speeches, girls with all the features, who's smarter than all the teachers. Me and Pawley, she a pro, me creates and get the preachers. I love all you ladies, and I want my second video. And which winner will I find a girl who kills it so slick? That won't give me snake eyes and my holding eyes. I hold the temple down with the wrong day. Calling all my ladies who like to rock the cosplay. We can take it back to my place and have a little soiree, party, or take a little game and get and gone. Girl, you know we do this all like this.
Just sounds like destruction behind me. Even though I know they're not breaking anything, everything rattling around can be kind of disconcerting. so wobbly.
Walking through the desert, searching for the truth of everything behind me. When to came out for you, walking through the daylight and sleep under the moon. Watch every single side and a mirage the same as the moon. You're 1,000 miles away, but if you
So we have 12 of my regular mugs, my 20-ounce mugs. I'm making several of these, and then later on I'm going to make the 10-ounce mugs, which look the same, but they're just smaller. Today is, what is 27 Celsius? What's the conversion on that? It's like in the 80s, is that right? It's 80.6, yeah. Yeah, Knitter Girl, you don't like the heat. Yeah, living that far north, I can guess. Yeah, I can bet. See, living in Florida for just a couple of years, I'm from this area, but living in Florida for a couple of years, I really acclimated to the heat very quickly. But I've never been able to handle the cold, so. But I've never lived in a place that got super cold for a long time. It's time for a post office run. Doppelganger said, when you were younger, you craved the 80 and 90 degree weather, but now you can't really do anything in those temperatures. Yeah. Yeah, it's like I've learned how to handle the heat. One is, because of living in Florida, but also because I worked in a factory for 5 years where it was a remelt facility for recycling aluminum. And working in this type of heat next to those furnaces, I mean, you have to adapt. And it is miserable. My goodness. Oh, I knocked over the box. Okay. They do have a little too much energy. Yeah, we've also never had cats like this that fight for fun because we've never had litter mates before. All of our cats are either stray cats that have wandered up fully grown or ones we got from a shelter. Hey, buddy. Yeah, you can kind of see him over there. All you see is flailing arms, flailing arms and legs and tails. I'm assuming there's a bug out there. Though Tux has become a very good flycatcher. Oh, doppelganger, one of your boys is very accomplished at hunting lizards. Oh yeah, like big lizards or like the little bitty lizards that you sometimes see in gardens and stuff. The little bitty ones were everywhere in Florida. Like they were like they would get into the apartment. You would see them on on the sidewalk. They were just everywhere. As a matter of fact, when we first got our two cats when we lived in Florida, we still have them. One of our cats, like when he was a kitten, would always take off with my hair ties, like cats will do. And so I caught him running through the living room one day with something in his mouth. I assumed it was my hair tie. So I went and chased after him and got my hair tie back. But it wasn't. It was a lizard. Wondered why he was being so defensive of that hair tie. So I got the lizard out of his mouth and did a, screamed and did a little girl dance. And then he had to go catch the lizard again. Oh wow, doppelganger, that's nice. If your roommate catches him with something that is still alive, she gets him to drop the prey and locks him in the house for an hour so it can escape. But how mad does that make your cat then? Because I mean, because cats are predators. I mean, they're gonna hunt, and usually when like a cat brings you something, it's bringing it to you as a gift sometimes. Eclipse Maiden, hey, good afternoon. Yeah, welcome to the studio, everybody. Eclipse said, your sister is an art major, and you love watching, but you have zero talent in the art department. What does your sister do? She's a graphic designer, but she also does a lot of painting on canvas. Nice. That's something I was never all that good at, was painting. I love drawing, and like being creative and being artistic was always something that was it's what I did in my spare time. It was my hobby, and it's what I do to relax because just the process, the creative process for me, it is relaxing. And if I'm stressed out, it would calm me down. So that's kind of what I do. Just for fun or just because, makes me feel better. Some people like to exercise, some people read a book or watch TV or play games. For me, I like to make things, and I've been fortunate enough to turn it into a career. I am in Kentucky. We are in southern Kentucky, just north of Nashville, Tennessee. It was a little bit too tall. I'm going to see if I can press it back down a little bit. Make it a tad bit shorter. Much better. Oh, you're in Georgia. Nice. Yeah. I'm actually going to be doing a show in Atlanta next spring. So I think it's sometime no, it's not. It's in May. I'm like, it might be in April, but it's in May. It's normally in April. This year is just much later. Eclipse, I was just trying to think of exactly where it is. It is it's at a convention center that's near a mall. I'm trying to think of the what? It is the Cobb Galleria is the mall. and a convention center. Cobb Convention Center, I guess is what it's called. Or Cobb Galleria is the mall. And so there's a convention center attached to it. Yes, there you go. You guessed it before I did. What? No, it's the cats. Sorry about the earthquake. Yeah, the show we're doing, it's called Stitches United. For the past couple of years, the show bounces around in the spring. It used to be in Atlanta all the time, but then they moved it up to Connecticut. I think it went to Nashville first. It was in Atlanta, then Nashville, and then the past 2 years it's been in Connecticut. But next year it's going to be in Atlanta, and then it's going to like swap between Atlanta and Connecticut. But yeah, we are 4 hours from Atlanta, if that tells you anything. Kitten quakes. So what was the hardest piece to make? Sometimes the hardest pieces to make are ones that I've never made before. So when I get a custom commission and I have to kind of start over, like I don't know how long something's going to take, or I don't know how much clay I'm going to need, so it may take a little bit more experimentation. Or if I've got kittens in my lap, you know, there's all kind of factors that can affect things. All that pouncing make you thirsty, buddy. Yes, my name is Amanda. Same as your sister's name, then. Yeah, there are a lot of Amandas in the world. I think every class I've ever been in through school, and even in college, like there have been at least another person named Amanda. I'm gonna break some stuff up here. Handles are actually not that bad. So once these dry out a little bit, I'll put handles on them. But I extrude my handles. I don't pull them, or at least not many of them. So I have a, if you see the blue circular thing against the wall back there, that's my extruder. And I use that to press the clay through a die. So it spits out a long strip, and I just cut it into 7-inch sections. And those are my handles. There we go. So handles for mugs are not that bad. You know, the more complex a piece is, the more pieces and parts it has, the harder it is. Teapots are generally like, I wouldn't call them hard because I've made several teapots, but they're complex because you've got to make a body, a spout, a lid, a handle, everything, and put them all together and make sure that everything fits together and that You attach everything at the right time so nothing cracks or falls off. So teapots are more challenging because there's more room for error. There's more room. There's so many more chances for the whole thing to just fall apart. You know. Well, I think I have streamed the extruder before, like maybe at least once. So yes, I do teach classes. We're in a very small area here in Southern Kentucky, so it's not something that I advertise and do on a regular basis. But when people come and ask me to do a class, I do them on individual basis, on an individual basis. See, the cats are so cute. You just can't even. Oh, now Tux has got something on his ear too. Yeah, they just can't sit still today. What? Oh. Like Daniel made a sound like one of the kittens jumped on him, but I'm like, all the kittens are up here with me, but it was Kiba. Is it finally nap time, guys? Granted, it went from storming to being blisteringly hot to storming again. No, 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 no. They are not for inspection. Oh, come on. There we go. I want the cart out of jumping range, kind of, but still where I can reach it. And that's why I've had to stop putting things on the bottom racks, because the kittens will just pounce right through them. I haven't broken anything that's finished, like on the shelves, but they've squished quite a few pieces. Yeah, you can't stay mad at them. No, they're sweet. Well, they're sweet depending on their state of alertness, I guess. You love how they just follow my every move sometime. Yes, they are so curious. Oh no! Well, I didn't intend to do that, but I may end up turning one of these into one of the mini mugs. Your cats are older, around 7 years, so they just sit around and sleep. Yeah. Let's see. So measure these with the other side. That's actually perfect. So I guessed right with how much clay I had left. So the small ones here are 10 ounces and the big ones are 20 ounces. Here we go. Say you miss their kitten days, but you also have a 14-week-old puppy that is such a goofball. Yeah. Now, I think dogs are so much more energy, and they tend to be bigger too than cats. I think I'd take kittens over puppies any day. So there's the kind of the size difference, putting one next to the other. It looks so tiny, but it's actually more of a regular size mug. Oh, you have Boston Terriers, so they're still going to be smallish, yeah. Eclipse, once you get your new place, you want to adopt a cat or a kitten from the shelter, yes. That's what we did when we first got married. Or a couple months after we got married. Little girl, you're out of here? Yeah. Have a good day. Thanks for stopping by. So how long do they dry from this stage? Honestly, it really depends on the weather. If it's super humid, I could leave these out all day long and they would be fine. If it's a really, really dry day, which is what we usually get in the wintertime, then, I could leave these out for a couple of hours and I would have to start assembling them. But what I tend to do is, like, if I'm throwing these now, I'll probably cover them up once I fill up my rack here and then work on them tomorrow. So just let them dry out slowly. And I'll just cover them up with some thin sheets of plastic. If I knew that I needed to keep them hydrated for a long period of time, like over the span of like a week or two, then I have some plastic totes that I can put them in. They're not completely airtight, but they're better than just draping something with plastic. And that's actually what I did with the bowls that I threw the other day before yesterday. Some of them were going to be made into sheep bowls, so I put them in the plastic tubs until I can get to them to assemble them. So it looks like we have 20 pieces so far. It's super relaxing just watching. Yes, I have a lot of people tell me that. It's relaxing or mesmerizing to watch. But it's just as relaxing for me to do. It is extremely easy to get caught up in the repetition of the process and just zone out. As a matter of fact, when I'm not streaming, though, like we've been streaming for 2.5 years now, and I think almost everything I've made on the wheel, I have streamed. But when I'm not streaming, I listen to audiobooks. Well, that one kind of messed up. Yeah. And not very evenly either. Oh well, that's our first claytality. And I can reuse all of this clay. I just have to let it dry out a little bit. Perfect. I'm not get the hang of this yet. How many normally fit on the racks? So I have two different sizes of wire racks here, but per level I can fit 30. So I'll easily have room for 60 on here. And I'm on 22 right now. So about a third of the way done. Filling up this rack. Let's make this one a little bit taller. JD Lady, hey, good afternoon. Wow, JD. Oh, yeah, earlier you pre-ordered all the things from the Yarn Quest thing. Yeah, so which color mug did you get? So are they still taking orders then? I don't know how things work with Kickstarter, or if like once the goal was met, if they you can continue to buy things. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I think they're. I don't know how she's finding out what color people want.
She sent out emails, I believe.
Okay, so check your email. I think she sent out an email asking what color you want.
If Colleen's in here, she knows.
Pauline's not here yet.
Gotcha. Oh, it rained.
It did, yeah, just for a second or two.
I was gonna let 3:30 and go take those things over so I can see if my two
Yeah.
packages are good.
Did you grab the piece of paper from the post office.
It's
Yeah.
it's not 3:30.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that stuff. Oh,
Mm-hmm. Keep wanting to call him Frosted Flake.
he's frosted. You're the flake.
Haha. Blue, hey, good afternoon. This is your first time here. You're welcome to the studio. Why am I putting clay below the square tile? That's just to level it out so it's not sitting here rattling, because these are just plain old floor tiles, and because I've used them before, they tend to have like gunky stuff on the bottom, so I add more clay to the bottom to kind of level them out. Then I use these tiles so that I don't have to physically pick up the pieces off the wheel. I can just move the tile instead, and I'll cut them off later. And I think I centered this, but I'll center it one more time. I center the clay by bringing it up into a cone and then compressing it back down. And then open it up by just making a divot in the clay with my finger. And then leveling out the bottom, leaving about a 1/4 inch at the bottom. Yeah, it can keep it stuck in place, but really the square hole that I cut here is what holds it, in place, keeps it from moving around. But the slip underneath it is just to level it out. And then we got our first pool. And I'm making mugs. These are my 20-ounce mugs. I'm using 1 pound of clay. There we go. Hey, Morwin. Morwin says hello.
Hello.
Hey, Shanna.
Hello, Shanna.
And Shelby. Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon. There we go. Cutting off a little bit of the clay at the bottom because it's extra and I don't need it anymore. And I'm going to smooth this out. I'll measure it to make sure it's the right height, and it's not. It needs to be taller. So we'll add some water to the outside. You never realized it was a home-rigged setup with the tiles? You thought it must be standard equipment? No. Now, you can buy commercial systems that are commercial systems like this that they'll sell you a bat with a hole cut in it and some square inserts for it, but it's super easy to make yourself with the floor tiles. They're like as cheap as what, $1/4 a piece? I mean, they're almost nothing. And then a bat, just cut a hole in it with a Dremel. Because most of the standard bats you can buy are made of wood, of pressed wood or the masonite, and so they swell and warp, which the clay tiles don't warp, so it's also a better option. Yeah, Shayna, the only professional one you could find is made of particle board, which isn't that waterproof. Yeah, exactly. Blue, it is 10 p.m. where you're at. Oh, wow. Where are you from, if you don't mind me asking? Yeah, it is 10 after 3 here. All right, here's my 1 pound of clay. I have placed it firmly on the wheel, which is the very first step and the most important step. Sagastrina, hey, good afternoon. You're in Slovakia, in Central Europe, wow. Well, welcome to Southern Kentucky. Did I center this? I think I centered it. It feels centered. All right, there's number 24. Now that the cats are sleeping, I can move this a little bit closer. I have to, when they're bouncing around, I have to keep it out of jumping range. So what brand of wheel is this? This is a Creative Industries wheel. They actually don't make them anymore, but you can find them used. They were bought out by a brand named Speedball. I think the version of this wheel that's now available for sale is called the Big Boss. So it's supposed to be a more like heavy-duty wheel that can handle lots and lots of use. Which this one, I got it used and I've never had an issue with it. And why are we all wobbly? Nope. So I probably should just squish this right now and start over, but I'm going to play with it for a little bit.
Oh my god, I never thought I'd ever hear MGMT again. But guess who popped up on the Yo Gabba Gabba Spotify station yesterday?
She's late for baby yoga, but she's looking hella fly. Breastfeeding out in public, catching everybody's eye. With her brand new Orbit stroller and her probiotic smoothie. I hope was checking prices on that tasty vegan sushi. With that Adbusters mag and her artisan toast. She's always shopping local and avoiding GMOs. Scoping out the Lululemon if it line on her phone. Using Amazon Mom, cause she's always on the go. Watching Girls on HBO really takes her back to the Bushwick parties and the vinyl stacks. She misses Cafe Grumpy and Brooklyn Label. But when she's back in Franklin, she can never get a tape.
I'm going to level off the rim a little bit.
For an underground band named Arcade Fire. Before Lena Dunham was successful and paid, Hipster Girl was on the L trying to find her way. Well, Hipster Girl grew up and got her MSA. Married with a mortgage and an IRA. Hybrid minivan up in the carpool. But Hipster Mom is doing okay.
This may seem like a stupid question, but was breast milk vegan? Can I call you back in a bit? I have to Skype my lactation consultant.
Looks so good when the doc's organic, cause she cares about her baby and the future of our planet. But life has gotten hectic now that she's become a mom. Though the charter school waiting list isn't all that long, and the Mandarin immersion that they offer every morning combines a bit of Waldorf and a bit of Montessori. And the rooftop playground has an urban petting zoo with recycled wood chips and a Manhattan view. Cause her Greenpoint sublet had to go. Bedford got too crowded and she'd seen enough shows, so she married a designer and moved to Park Slope. Found a nice brownstone and they took out a loan. And her Etsy store has been doing great. Giselle and Paige Instagrammed her diaper bouquet. Before the Starbucks down on Union sold soy lattes. There was Hipster Girl trying to find her way. Well, Hipster Girl grew up and got her MSA. Married with a mortgage and an IRA. Hybrid minivan up in the carpool lane. But Hipster Mom is doing
Not too bad. I actually saved it. Sometimes you can do that, sometimes you can't.
Did you hear Jessica had an elective epidural? It's like she doesn't even care about the health of her newborn. How basic.
no more TV on the radio, it's NPR. Where she heard the interview in her husband's car with her ex-fiance who had gone EDM. But ever since her wedding, it was hard to stay friends. And his Cohen hoodie with the dragonfly, she kept it in her closet. Who's cried a night about? Asked Terry Gross, a girl I knew in Brooklyn, we were once very close.
What is this? I can't hear the music, so I don't know. I think it tries to post a link to the song, but I don't know. Google it. Ask the all-powerful Googles. I wish I could hear it then. We'll have to ask Hamster what playlist he put on today.
Are you kidding? Of course I'm not gonna
So this is it's Pretzel Rock, which you can see because it tells you what the songs are, but this is apparently free music,
That's why I'm citing
copyright free music.
for Rose and controversy. Have you seen Blackfish? It is so sad. There is no way we are
Mind's been floating a million miles from home. In the clouds, I've forgotten how I'm left alone. Oh, been chasing dreams since I was young. I never stop. Oh, if I fail, I will get back up. I get what I want. Oh, 'cause I see you in my shoes, standing where I'm meant to be. Got everything, nothing to lose, so I keep living my dream. I'll hold the rope.
Okay, yeah, JD Lady, yeah, other streamers have mentioned that's being cut down on the playing of copyrighted music. Yeah. Well, you know, I've not been like flagged for it or anything, but I just know that with the music that's copyrighted, when you go back to watch the video, you know, it cuts out all the sound during most of it because of the music.
The better days are waiting here. Roots run deep and nothing's been wasted. Touch you. Oh, it's part of me. It's all I need. It's all I got. So I will fight until the end for what is mine. Oh, 'cause I see you in my shoes, standing where I'm meant to be. Got everything, nothing to lose, so I keep living my dream. I'll hold the ropes, I won't give up. Our time is up, it's half my luck, it's half my luck. Oh, it's half my luck. It's half my luck. 'Cause I see you in my shoes, standing where I'm meant to be. Got everything, nothing to lose, so I keep
Oh no!
living my dream.
Arg. No fixing that one. Oh, more when you mean like the splash pan? You know, I think the splash pan is brown. Yeah. Not that you can see it, but yeah, its natural color is dark brown. You can kind of see it right here. Yeah. Yeah, dark brown, and then the table on the wheel is kind of a off-white, yeah, kind of yellowish plastic. I don't know if it's actually that color or if it's kind of faded to that color over time. Yeah, very rarely do I take the time to just scrub this thing down. Like underneath the wheel, as things build up, I, you know, will clean that stuff out so it's not rubbing against the wheel head. But besides that, I keep it rather slovenly. Because it's my wheel and nobody else is going to use it, so I don't have to keep it clean for anybody else. And I don't usually change clay bodies that often. Because the two different clay bodies I use are similar in color, and they both can fire to the same temperature, so cross-contamination is not that much of an issue. Yeah, Shannon, if you were throwing that much stuff in a day, you don't think you'd take the time to clean the wheel either, yeah. Hey, Monswinge. Good afternoon. There's 28. Sometimes when things get wobbly, it's a little bit easier to throw with a rib, or pull the clay up with a rib. Not always, but this one, it's got a lump in it, which I think is just a hard piece of clay. It's making everything wobbly. I think, Shanna, didn't you say that really helped you when you were throwing? To throw with a rib? Yeah, you say using the rib helps a lot. You're just not good at the knuckle lift, yeah. And for small things like this, I don't use my knuckle. I use just the side of my finger for the small things. I guess I don't make enough large things to notice the difference.
Alright, we're gonna do this.
Thank you.
I will be back.
You tried just using the side of your finger and you wound up gouging things, yeah. Not sure why. Your nails were short, but the rib worked a ton better for you, yeah. Well, and sometimes I think that's part of why sometimes I get a wobble when the clay is a lot softer and I put too much pressure on the first pull and, you know, almost go right through the mug. Because the consistency of your clay also has a lot to do with it, what I've noticed. You know, when I'm throwing things that are a lot softer, I have to have a much lighter touch. So my goal was to do 60 of these before supper. We'll see how close I can get to that, because I'm at, this will be number 30 if it survives. And stretched it out a little bit too wide. And there's 30. Oh no, see, there we go. It's putting too much pressure there. I had a lump that I was trying to get rid of. Man, we've had a lot of claytalities today. It's like number 3, I think. But I can reuse this clay later. Like if I wanted to use it up right now, I would go mix it with some of my fresh clay that's a little bit drier. Or else I could just let it dry out a bit itself and then reuse it. Oh, we got a kitten lump. They're cuddled together. Shannon, you said somebody on Reddit wanted info on throwing, so you posted the link on there. So I hope it was okay. Oh yeah. Not a problem at all. Shannon, didn't you say that's where you found out about me? Somebody had posted a link on Reddit? That's something I don't think I've ever actually been on Reddit very much. You've never been there either, Lassie? We were posted on Artisan Videos. Ooh. Mugsy Makes, hey, good afternoon. Yes, we have some tuckered out kittens. Finally, they were running around here like crazy earlier. There we go. Now this is a good way to throw pots.
Not really.
No, no.
I think I would mess up more of your spot.
feels like it's not quite level. Got some gunk stuck to the bottom of it. Maybe it needs to be a bit taller. Wait. Yeah, it still does. Almost. Much better. That's 35. How many am I going for? I'm going to try to do 60 before supper. Because it's almost 4 o'clock here. Whisper, hey, thank you for the follow. And Mike Noir, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the studio, everybody. Just working on some of my mugs. This one is wanting to get a little bit wonky on me. There we go. These are my 20-ounce mugs, which they're going to hold 20 ounces. It's the considered the large mug on the website. And while they may look considerably bigger than 20 ounces right now, it's because they are. They will shrink when they're fired. So they'll be about a ½ inch smaller once they're fired.
Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Birds chirping in
JD Lady, you're out of here. Yeah, have a good evening. Thanks for stopping by.
voices screaming so loud. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a strive. Savannah,
I'm gonna try to level this off a little bit.
coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a whirl.
There we go.
Savannah. Lions gonna come. Has just begun.
Muggsy, you say, how was the 4th for everyone? Yeah, we actually just stayed home. You manage dogs, one of whom is terrified of fireworks. Oh, poor thing. Finally got to rest close to midnight. Then the stupid bar peeps after 2 a.m. started lighting off huge ones again, so it was a long night. Wow, yeah. I think we heard fireworks maybe through 11 o'clock. Not many after that. But it was so unbelievably hot yesterday. Around here, it was a heat index of 106. So we stayed inside. Oh wow, Shanna, fireworks are illegal there where you're at, and some people decided to light them off on the ramp to your driveway. In spite of you having 7 cameras watching all sides of the house, you had to sleep with earplugs. Wow. Now, are they illegal because of the fire hazard? You can only light them inside the city limits if you are a licensed pyrotechnician. Yeah, makes sense.
As far as I can go, rest assured the wind will lead me far from home. Let's say the water beneath me
Hey, Moon Reaper, good afternoon.
is so pristine, splashing over me. Let's sail this world. The water beneath me is so clean, it's so neat, it's so pristine, splashing over me.
Oh wow, Muggsy, you had deer huddled on your property last night too. Poor things. Yeah. Yeah, Shanna. Yeah, and your issue is that in your neighborhood you have a lot of people, a lot of vets with PTSD. So any fireworks are harmful. Yeah. But you are also close to bomb ranges, deserts, etc. So people could do it safely if they just would. Yeah. Karen, I haven't seen the video of the drone fireworks. Actually, no, I have, but it was in reference to Disney because Disney World was going to start using those, or maybe they already have. But that was like probably a year ago. It's apparently more green and much quieter than traditional explosive fireworks, huh? Yeah, plus no fires, huh? All right, we have 40 mugs now. Finally. I feel like it's been kind of a struggle today. Yeah, I got thinking about fireworks. I've never been like super into fireworks. I don't remember ever like shooting much of them off as kids. I don't think I've ever actually shot a firework off. I remember playing with sparklers, but that was about it. Total Pill, thank you for the follow. And welcome to the studio. Maybe I need to go get a different bag of clay. These are all giving me problems. But also, like, we would always go watch the fireworks at 4th of July, but working at Disney World, when I had my internship there, I got kind of burnt out on fireworks, seeing them, or hearing them and seeing them every single night. And living in Orlando, there's always some theme park shooting off fireworks every night. Colleen, hey, good afternoon. There's 41. Yeah, Shannon, I think you'd get tired of them eventually. You don't care much about all the smaller consumer type. You like the big fireworks shows, though. It was cool last year when you said Ray got to work with a big show with a group of friends. Ooh. Is this something they put together themselves? Oh, it was they put them together. It was for Carson City, Nevada's 4th of July celebration. Nice. Well, Lassa, where are y'all going? You say so much for your restful day. Your kid wants to go eat at the restaurant and not just pick it up. Road Rage, hey, good afternoon. I'm working on some of my 20-ounce mugs. If this one survives, it will be number 42. And it is the right height. So it is almost done. So if I can do about 20 more, I will be happy. But first I need some tiles. Oh, nice. You went to Texas Roadhouse. You're going to Texas Roadhouse. That's where you went when you got engaged. So it's been a yearly thing ever since. Oh. So total pill. So how much fun is it when I create custom work? You know, it's a process. It kind of depends on what the custom work is. It's like, you can customize anything that I make. And so I've had people, most commonly are the mugs. So I'll be putting a medallion with some graphics on the mugs. And with that, I kind of have it down pat. It's a process, but it's something that I'm going to be doing kind of every week. It's just slightly different for everyone. Now, like on custom pieces like a teapot or like the Halloween witch I just made, those they're more of a process because I don't have a set of steps to go by. So it's I don't know that I would call it fun. Like it's engaging and it makes me think, but it's also kind of gives me a bit of anxiety because it's kind of stressful too, because it's not something that I'm familiar with and I have to kind of get out of my comfort zone a little bit. Yeah, Total Pill, thanks for stopping by. Zushi, hey, hello. And good afternoon. See how tall this is. Not tall enough. Oh, I sense a kitten attack coming on here. Maybe not. Maybe he's just like, brother, your ear really needs to be cleaned. Moon Reaper, yes, I did. So thank you for letting us know. I don't know if we've resolved the issue yet, but thank you for letting us know. Nightwing is out of it. Yeah, you love how kittens and puppies sometimes seem like they could sleep through anything, yes. I would include grown cats in that too, because Kipa can be passed out. I mean, and not move at all. Like he's gotten used to the sounds of the wheel and then of the thuds that I make, but and he won't even twitch an ear. It's like I was trying to sleep here. Do you feel better now that you've got the purple pillow all to yourself? All right, Shannon. Yeah, soup sounds good. This piece of clay was a little bit drier, so it's taking a bit more force to actually pull the wall up, so it's getting kind of wobbly on me. Nope. Aw. Oh well. Let's see if either of these will work. That was like I think that was our 4th claytality for the day, so it's been a struggle. Need to figure out what I do right here that makes it so wobbly. Is it because I make that section just a tad bit too thin? Because I put too much pressure wrongly at the top or something that makes that points out kind of the weakest point, which is at the bottom? I don't know. Sometimes I think some of the clay here has been sitting out for a little while, and it was a little bit stiffer than I was used to, so it was messing with me a bit. Wild Zan, you said you got your box and wanted to let me know the whole side was smushed in. Oh no. But the mugs were still perfect. You love them. Oh, good. The whole side was smushed in. Shoo. Well, I'm glad they got there safely regardless, and that's why I use all the peanuts and the bubble wrap. So is the clay reusable, or is it just wasted? Oh no, the clay, as long as it's not been fired, it can be recycled over and over and over again. So anything that like breaks or has a crack in it, or is a little bit wonky, or or that is just scraps from the wheel, I can recycle all of it. So there's very little waste. Now, if something has a crack in it after it's been fired, then yeah, then that's just, we call them therapy pots. Because the only thing you can do with them is throw them away, so you might as well take your anger out on a brick wall while you're doing it. Yeah, well, Zan, well, thank you for stopping by. Yeah, have a good evening. Arctic White Fang, hey! Good afternoon. Oh no. This one is sagging. I don't know if I'll be able to do anything with this one or not. There we go. Does the heat affect clay, or just the humidity or the really cold temperatures? Really, the hot and cold don't affect the clay as much as the drying time. So the the humidity in the air is really what's going to affect the drying times of the clay. There are some clay bodies that if they freeze, they may be different. Because I've seen a lot of disclaimers saying that some places won't ship you clay in winter because it might freeze and that could damage the clay or damage the chemical makeup of the clay. I know there's a lot of some glazes can be ruined if they're frozen. But as far as the heat, it takes several hundred degrees before you're going to change the chemical makeup of the clay. So just like on a hot day, it's not really going to change much, except it might dry it out. But I know this specific clay body, I've actually had some bags that were frozen and then thawed out, and it was fine to use. Oh, really, Shayna? So you finally broke down and got a cooler for your clay since it resists the heat and keeps the moisture in. I never thought about that before. So once I do the first firing of the clay, yeah, that's right. It can no longer be salvaged, even if it was messed up. Those pieces, you know, sometimes I just throw them away, but if they're, it's something that I can, something small that I can use as a glaze test, I'll keep it around. Yeah, he said you have no idea what you would do with 2 tons of clay. Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is finding a place to put it all. All right, let's see. This one seems kind of short. It's very short. This one may not make it. Salt, hey, how long have I been doing this? Well, I took my very first class 15 years ago. So I've been doing this for quite a while, but I've had my own studio equipment and stuff for 11 years, and I've been full-time at this for 5 years. Though with my record of throwing mugs today, you wouldn't know that. It's been horrible. Yeah. Look, I made a pretty flower. Alright, let's try this one. Do I reuse the mud in that case? Yes. So everything that's not been fired can be recycled. So I'll just let the clay dry out a little bit, and then I can reuse it again, or I can mix it with some fresh clay. Yeah, so there's very little waste. And it takes some of the sting out of losing a piece, you know, or if it drops something, or if it has a crack in it, or it gets warped. What's more frustrating, a claytality on the wheel or kittens squishing something while it's drying? Definitely kittens squishing something. Because if it's a claytality on the wheel, you know, scrape it off, let it go. Because I'm not that attached to it. But, you know, once it's over here and I've counted it as part of the pieces I've made, then you know, after that, when it gets destroyed, that's a little bit harder to take. There we go. Now I have 50 pieces.
Face to face, I found my pain beneath the lies and
So what is the purpose of what I'm making? What is it? I'm actually making mugs. So all of these are mugs. They're my 20-ounce mugs. So tomorrow I'll probably be putting handles on all of these and then customizing them according to what how they've been ordered. Customizing them with like a graphics or text. Now I need to run to the back of the studio and grab some more clay. So I'll be right back so I can do the 10 more that I wanted to do before supper. Because it's just barely 5 o'clock. Alright, I'll be right back. Sometimes standing up is hard.
This one for the person who feels alone. This one for the hero who has no home. This one for the one who live for hope. Changing better days. Pick your head up. Keep on fighting. Living, loving. Make your mind up. If you want it, take it. Fly away. Soaring high above the clouds.
All right, so I'm going to do 10 more because that's what I have room for here. Whoa, hey, what you doing? Hmm? Hello. Mm-mm. Nope, 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 nope. Okay. There we go. Let's just get that out of jumping range. Do I? How do I split the clay into balls of different sizes? Do I have a machine for it, or is it all done by hand or eye? I have a scale. I put them on a scale. Okay. Sorry, Hamster was saying something to me. Yeah, so the only machine that I have back there for clay is my pug mill. And so when I reclaim the clay, all I do is like I have the clay, like some of the dry pieces, if I have something that's dry and I break it or it cracks, then I have to soak it in water. So I have a bunch of 5-gallon buckets in the back that are just slowly filling with scrap pieces of clay. When they're full, I mix them up with a kind of like a paint mixer. And then lay out the slop pretty much on or slip, lay that out on some plaster slabs. And then when they dry out enough, I mix that with some of the fresh clay that I get in my pug mill. And the pug mill, it's called it's a Peter Pugger power wedger. Because normally what you would do is knead the clay, kind of like kneading bread. Very similar motion, except a lot harder. To get air bubbles out, to kind of get the clay to a even consistency so you can throw with it. That's the only thing I have a machine that I use for. So I have the pug mill that does that. It mixes the clay together and then it has a vacuum pump on it that sucks all the air out so it doesn't have air bubbles. And then spits the clay back out, and then I can just measure it out into, whatever I'm going to be making today. But if I don't have any reclaim to use, then I can just use the clay straight out of the bag. So no machines are needed, just weigh it out. I don't want to jinx myself, but it feels like I'm doing a little bit better here. I've not been struggling with these last few. I don't know what they're playing with back there, but it's making a rustly sound. They had been attacking that invading cinder block, yes. The kitten-sized obstacle course. No, come on. All right, let's see if I can start this one over. You hope they don't climb on the racks and destroy things. Well, that's why I don't put anything on the bottom level anymore, because they would climb on there and destroy things. And I will roll this one out into the middle of the room so they can't get on here and jump, because they do that. But usually they don't bother things if I don't have them covered in plastic, because that's what happens is I'll cover things in plastic, and if any of it is hanging down where they think they can reach it and jump up and grab it, they'll do that. And so that's what the temptation is. They want to play with the plastic that I cover things with. Nope. Oh well. I spoke too soon. Oh, and like your dogs, they sleep all day, wake up for like 30 minutes, go nuts, eat dinner, and then go back to sleep. Yep. Oh, Tux has the orange bird off of their little cat toy tower thing. Their scratching post. You see him? The orange poof in his mouth. Whoa, that was my elbow, buddy. Yes, I will be back after dinner. So hopefully I'll see you later. Starting to sag a bit. Hello. Oh, I just got him on the ear. Oh, I got your ear again, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm beginning to think they jump up here now just because it's a good vantage point. Smoking Barbie, hey, good afternoon. Yeah, the kittens can be sweet when they're not using their claws. You like the stream? Thank you. Yeah, welcome to the studio. Just will keep coming. Don't just hang there. Okay, or don't. Whew. Remember what I said about claws? So Tux is sitting behind me on my yoga ball, so I'm waiting to be attacked any moment. That's 57. I'm kind of out of tiles. I think this is a good stopping point. I'll make 3 extra tonight. So I made 57 so far. Maybe I can start fresh tonight and not have so many claytalities. And give Tux a bath. Because you now have white ears, buddy. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to head out. We're going to get some supper, and then I will be back again. Doing some more throwing. I'll probably be throwing some more of this size, and then I'll switch to the smaller 10-ounce version. Oh, where do you think you're going now, huh? Now that I got my hands clean? Whoa. I got you. I got you. Oh. Get that little foot. Oh, go get him. Oh well, no kitten snuggles for me. Yeah, thanks guys. I'll see y'all later.